What's up, guys? So here I am once again demonstrating, proving, barely, not just kidding. It's just been a messy week. It's just been like stressful news after stressful news, but it's not a stress that I cannot manage. It's something that I was anticipating, but just because you're anticipating it doesn't make you any more prepared for it when the time comes. But, anyways, that's enough of a preamble. Let's just dive right into what I mean to talk about. So, the first thing I want to start off is hey, Holger, with a story of something that I witnessed and also, well, happened to me while I was at work. So, I was trying to show this one senior citizen how to access coupons through her phone, on her phone, through the landscape of a mobile device, interface. Because older people, as you can imagine, are going to experience some difficulties managing technology. Well, it was taking a couple of minutes. Behind my senior customer, there was a lady who had a child. This lady is like pushing 40 or in her late 30s or something like that. Something like that. Just to give you an idea of what her immaturity should be at. And let's say that 4 minutes into me trying to help my senior customer access the coupons on her phone, the lady behind her was understandably, getting impatient because it's something abnormal. You're not used to someone who's getting ready to pay taking so long, but at the same time, that doesn't matter to me because I am coaching a customer at that time. So what bothered me is that this lady proceeded to look at the senior customer's stuff and she's like, oh, is she just looking for coupons? She can totally use mine. And then she pulled out her phone and presented the online stuff. And I was also in the middle of coaching the customer, telling her if this becomes difficult for you, if using it on your phone becomes difficult for you, just print them out and don't even worry about cutting them out. Just print them out, present them to us here up at the register, and we'll be glad to process the discounts or whatever that need to be applied to your order. But anyways, the lady behind her with the child was like, can you just use mine and scan them because I'm ready to go. I have a 2-year old. And then I turn to her and take my time, my dear sweet time, reach for my scan gun. And then I scan the coupons that she had. And then I go back to my senior customer and I continue to coach her on how to access the stuff that she's looking for. I'm like, so as I was saying, this is what you do. If it becomes difficult for you to remember the information that you need to get signed in to like your account that you need to set up with the vendor so that you can get coupons, at customer service, we would be glad to coach you on how to retrieve that stuff, but you need to make sure that you can sign into your email so that they can send you a link on how to restore your password because she was completely unaware that like she's used to writing passwords down and then she said, oh, but I forgot the little journal in which I write all of my passwords in. And I'm like, no worries, if you are already signed in to your email addresses in your phone, you can access your password that way. Any website ever, if you have access to your email, you can do the I forgot my password and they'll give you the reset prompt anyways. But the lady behind her, it just bothered me because I'm like, if you cannot handle how to be a parent, how about this? How about if you go shopping at another time or go shopping before the weekend so that you have everything at home since apparently you cannot handle your child, or leave your child with someone, or don't bring your child at all. But it just bothered me because to me, she was presenting presenting herself like, I have a child, I am entitled to be ahead in the line, getting out of here quickly. And, look at my child, he's all energetic and running around, and I cannot control him. So, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, that's not my responsibility. I'm there to do a job. And I was in the middle of coaching my customer how to access stuff that is important for her as a consumer and patron of this business. So it's just that attitude of, look at me, this is my only child and I cannot handle it. Make my life easier because I ask, and because I have a child and I am a woman. Therefore, life cannot be complicated for me. It's like, no, that does not work like that at all. So, anyways, I thought that I would share that story because it frustrated me the moment it happened. I was just so like incredulous because when I was a child, I don't remember giving my mother problems. It's not like we had technology to where her checkout process was long, but it's just crazy to me that you have that attitude of, the world owes me something because I am a mother, and I cannot handle it and it's stressful. Just make life easy for me. No, you need to have parenting skills, and clearly that is something that you are lacking, because your children should not be giving you problems when you go out in problems. They should not be screaming. They should not be uncontrollable. Like if they have an impulse for candy or toys or something, you should be able to talk to them before you walk into the business and be like, you know what, kids, we're going shopping. We're going to walk by the aisle of sweets and toys. I don't have any money. Do not ask. Do not whine. Do not cry. Do not beg. Do not make a scene. You're not getting it. And if you make a scene, you're getting punished. You know, all it took was for my mom to tell me that, and I would never mess with her, period. And like, I knew that the stuff that she was declining or passing on at that time, she would remember what it was that I wanted. And then at another time, she would even surprise me with it, even if I had forgotten that I even had a craving for something. So it is possible to discipline your children to not give you problems, and for you to live your life peacefully and do all of the mundane stuff that you gotta do, and not look at your children like, having kids is so difficult. It's like, I cannot ever do anything anymore. I cannot take my children anywhere because they cause scenes. It's like, no, you need to be more invested with your child. So that takes care of that. And before I proceed to my next story, I guess I'm gonna read what you guys are saying. Most customers love giving employees a hard time to draw attention, and every parent needs to control their kids, and that's not your job. Telling another kid to stay still, so, 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 so true. Yeah, it's like, it's not my job at all to for the checkout process to be faster than normal to accommodate for your individual difficult schedule. Like, the world does not owe you anything. You think that you're the first person in the world who's a mother, who's having difficulties. You think that life is only tough for you, and that your time is everybody else's time, and that your concerns are everyone else's concerns. Why is the life of your child more important than anyone else's? No, your child is not any more special, and you are not any more special just because you have a child now. Like, we all have needs, we all have places to go, but you are responsible for making sure that you pick the most appropriate time for you to conduct certain things in your life. It's like, if I'm about to start my shift in 10 minutes, I'm not gonna try to go to some fast food place and go through the drive through and expect for me to be out of the drive through in 2 minutes, so that the remaining 8 minutes I can continue my commute and be on time at the store or wherever it is that I need to go. Or in this case, the job. Like, no, no. You gotta have a sense of responsibility. It's just ridiculous for me that we have to accommodate everybody now. Like, it's like we're seeing the world as this big daycare. We gotta take care of kids, we gotta take care of adults, and we gotta take care of adults and day kids. Like, what in the hell? You know, what's going on? Sounds like she is impatient and entitled. Oh, absolutely. Like yesterday, someone else who used to work with me, she was visiting. She came to my line and she was like, "Why are people so rude today?" And I said, "Friday, girl, Friday. Everyone's getting paid. Nobody has time to wait. For some reason, no one wants to wait. Everyone wants to pretend that they have something important to do when all you're going to do is go home and settle and be a lazy ass potato. And somehow you think that you need to be violent at the road and get there 2 minutes sooner because reasons. Like, no, no, you need to chill out, take your time, take it easy, not do anything stupid because people be getting hurt. Like the other day, I saw a horrendous accident in which a car's front was completely like crushed. And I'm like, the cop had like a clipboard on his hand and he was looking inside the window. I don't know if he was able to talk to the person who was trapped there or if he was just taking notes on that person, you know. So, does that not concern you? Like, that could happen to you. A lot of people have a that cannot happen to me mentality. And I find that absolutely repulsive because it is people like that who may cross your path and they're going to end up complicating your life when you had absolutely no involvement with this person. That is absolutely irresponsible and it's not fair that we have to pay those consequences. You know, I'm trying to live a responsible life, do things right, and then someone else is going to single handedly just ruin it for me. No, that should be, what is it? Not tolerable. Are you cold though? Let those locks free. Sure, as you wish, voice of snake eyes. Yeah, it's just that. Yeah, I just had a style going on earlier. I just. eh, But I'm not too cold, honestly. I just came from outside, so maybe that's what it is. It's also raining and miserable and cold outside, so I guess I just wasn't thinking that I was still like wrapped up like a burrito. Let me see. I hate customers pulling out all kinds of credit cards to show off and want to be holding up the line. Yeah, like please have your payment method ready. You do not need to be thinking about which of your 700 cards and gift cards to use. Like, have a plan. When you call any business, have a plan. When you go to some office, have a plan. Just please think about stuff ahead. Do not try to start figuring out your life the moment you get there. It's like, oh, I was calling because I was wondering if do you guys like motherfucker get it out, let it out. I don't have all day for you. I'm probably the most social activity you'll have in your day, but please still have a plan. I would love to just dedicate an entire day to just talking to you about nothing and get paid for it still. But like, please just have a plan. It's not difficult. Like, if you have a question about something that we have in stock, know the name of the product, the brand of the product, the size of the product, and definitely, definitely, I emphasize the name of the product. Some people say, I was there 2 years ago. It was for the holidays, and y'all had this kind of, I don't know the name of it. And then I asked, do you remember the brand? Because some brands only have a focus on a product that they manufacture. No, I don't remember the brand. I'm like, do you remember the package, what it looked like, the logo, or anything? No, but I remember it being sweet and it was delicious, absolutely delicious. Everyone was telling me that that was their favorite part of the dinner. But I was wondering if y'all still carry it. And then you get upset if I don't know what you're talking about. You did not clear anything up for me at all. I am trying to help you. I am trying to excel at what I do, which is customer service. But if you don't have your life together, I cannot help you. You need to be able to do something. Remembering the name of the product and remembering the brand of the product is just the bare minimum. Like, I know that nowadays we see a lot of weird products and we're importing stuff from other countries, or we are adopting recipes from other countries, and we don't necessarily know what some things are called. But just please try to know something about your life, because at least usually we put on our thinking caps and we can somehow like bring it out of you what it is that you're inquiring about. But that usually takes a specific person who has the patience and knowledge and honestly that time for you. And you might say, well, it's all about the customer. If you don't have time for the customer, you're not going to make money. Well, fortunately, there's more than one customer who's our stakeholder. So, no, we cannot redirect all of our attention to just one buffoon who cannot figure anything out about their lives. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I think they recur to that tactic just to prolong the social activity as much as possible, because I'm seeing a pattern. It's the same kind of people every time. The folks who I'm used to seeing by themselves, and it's just crazy. People are just lonely like that. It's weird. It's just weird. When I go shopping, I had everything ready and I cannot stay in a store for hours. I can stay somewhere for a couple of hours if it's a place that's engaging. Like, let's say there's more than one thing to do inside that building. Say you may go to some place that they have food, but they also have games. They also may have things for you to watch, or they may have a place with a computer or something. I don't know. It has to be something very elaborated for me to be just spending the hours in there. There's people, guys, who are literally at our doors 10 to 15 minutes before we open, and they're like, can we go in? And I'm like, nah, because you do not have slip resistant shoes and our floor is still being, it has stuff going on, and even I skid through it, imagine you. So but it's crazy, like, what do you do? It's like 6:30 in the morning and you're there arriving with us. Why? It's not like, especially on weekends, you're not working. We know where you work at because you tell us everything about yourself. So it's just weird that people have this routine. And not only that, but these people, more people come behind them and they get coffee or something. It's crazy. They may buy some stuff and ask the kitchen to like fix it for them. And I'm like, you're over here for social activity. How about if you go to your house? Like, invite people over. But it's at the same time, when I think about it, if we can accommodate those people, sure. But it's just weird that people have like a little congregation going on at the same time every day, getting the same stuff, talking about nothing. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just people. These are older folks, so maybe that's their retirement social activity, I guess. I don't know, but it's just weird that you pick somewhere like a like a freaking store to do that at. Like, go somewhere else. Anyways, go to a park or something. People cannot wait and wait too long for what they want to do in life. Life is too short. Now the world's too fast nowadays. I know what you're saying. Just Thursdays and Fridays. Don't play no games in the line. Absolutely. Okay. So another thing that I wanted to talk about is something that has happened in my family a few times, and that is we have an individual who sometimes they do something, they get in trouble, and then the family is upset. It's like, I made a video about this and I entitled it When You're Deemed a Disgrace to the Family. But, anyways, to elaborate on it a little further and taking a different look at it, let's say that you do something that pretty much stains the prestige and the image of your family. And then some of the first folks who may be there to criticize you or something, maybe your parents, like, oh, I inculcated great values into you, why are you fucking up like that? So now I ask the question, until when should parents' leadership be present in their children's lives? Is there an age? Is 18 absolutely the cutoff time? Is 18 the age in which you are absolutely relying and counting on your child to just be ready to face life? And why is that the case? Why can parents not linger a little longer in their children's lives into adulthood just to, make sure that stuff is going all right, be invested, be involved? But most of the folks I know have parents who have an attitude of, as soon as you turn 18, you gotta go, you gotta get out of here. And then if your child ends up in trouble, let it be financial, let it be a stupid speeding ticket, let it be whatever the hell, we end up seeing that, like, your parents are like, well, you got in trouble, boy, so you gotta get out on your own and stuff like that. Why is that the case? Why are parents so limited? In my personal opinion, I think that parents who have that mentality of age 18 just magically makes shit like happen for them. It means that you are no longer intervening in your child's life because, okay, the night before you're still 17. Everything is okay because you're still 17. But the moment it's midnight, oh, I'm done with you. Like, how about if you transition your life along with your child? Transition with them from like adulthood, early adulthood, adolescence, and all that, have a smooth transition so that your children can have a sense of what it's like to live independently. Because to just throw them out, kick them out at age 18, no matter what, and for them to just figure shit out on their own, to me, that doesn't seem like the healthiest thing to do. Everyone likes to have some kind of refuge, something, an extra layer of protection for you to just be able to live your life in case something happens. You don't need to have everything figured out. Everyone's rate of progress is simply going to differ. So then these parents, the very parents who have this attitude of by age 18, this and that, it's like, I ain't your daddy anymore, I ain't your mommy anymore, you gotta have everything sorted. Those are the same motherfuckers who, as soon as the child graduates from college and they say, well, I got a job somewhere else, out of state or something, then they throw this drama of, oh my God, you're leaving me, this and that, especially mothers. Like, oh yeah, yeah, my baby boy is leaving me, and oh, we had never been separated, and all that drama. And I'm like, lady, just shut up. You are you were one of the first people who was celebrating your freedom, that you don't have to be a mommy anymore, that you don't have to be babysitting anymore, that you don't have to be raising your kids anymore, that you finally have me time and money and just for you to do your things and not be accused of being a negligent parent. So, do you see what I'm trying to say there? What is wrong with a parent's leadership lingering for a little longer in a child's life? Because what makes me say that is, if you're a parent, I hope that you are considerably older than your children so that you have experience and a certain degree of stability in your life so that you can coach your children. Like, you know what? I used to be a manager at some point in time. This is why your managers may be having a difficult time. They have to budget things. They need to have a schedule. They have policies to enforce. Because when you get thrown into your first job, ain't nobody talking to you like that. You're just seeing the manager as, this is like my mother, someone who can get me in trouble, or this is like my teacher, someone who can, like, they have a progress report that my parent is going to see, and if anything negative comes up, then hell rains upon me. It's like, if you guide your children and they see the experience that you had and you share it with them, I'm pretty sure that would help them grow, and that it would be significantly less stressful. And if you ever complain that your children do not come to you to talk to anything or that they don't trust you with anything, I would imagine that if you just talk to them regularly about things that are important but also silly and also not so serious but also serious stuff, life is going to be a whole lot better for them. Because I am very grateful that although my mother doesn't definitely make decisions for me, at least I can consult her if I'm ever not entirely sure, not entirely certain, or maybe I need an extra opinion. I'm still ultimately the person who's going to make the final choice. Like, no matter what, I'm like, I'm in my 20s, I got control, I can do this and that, but I still value her opinion, especially if my upbringing with her was fantastic. I had absolutely nothing to complain about her. But I feel like what has helped me is the fact that anytime I would share a story with her of, say, a rough time that I had with a manager, because let me tell you, I have had horrible experience with certain managers. She's like, well, what do you think is making them be that way? And then I sit down and I think about it, something that I didn't do at the moment, which was think what could possibly be making this person be all psychotic. And then I'm like, you know what? The day sucked. A lot of things were going wrong. We had call outs. We had leadership breathing down their necks. We had it, like a regional manager coming over. We had many complaints. People were upset about their schedules. That person was having a really rough day. I never considered that. I'm just focused on the fact that I had a shitty experience with that individual, but I am not trying to figure out why that individual was giving me a shitty time. You know what? Let me dive into them. What made them be that kind of a leader at that time? And then when I do that, when I try to put myself in their place, I'm like, holy shit, I have no place, no right to be judging them and like insulting them and just deeming them as inefficient and making the job difficult because I never thought about what it's like to be them for a moment. But it takes a third person, in this case my mother's input, to make me aware that I was not trying to figure out the origin of the problem. It's not even about me, it's about how disasters happen because of a chain of events. And at that moment in time, I was failing to consider that because I was like all heated up about, all salty about the fact that I had a bad experience with someone. So, again, a parent who treats me like that, who talks to me like that, it reinforces me with my skills, like emotional skills, mental skills. I honestly ask some of my peers, hey, what is it like for you to have a conversation with your parents? Oh, I don't talk to my mom like that. Or, how about when you got your first job? What did your parents say about it? How did your parents support you? They said, oh, they were never there for me. Okay. How about when you started seeing somebody for the first time? When you started having dates? Like, what was it like? Oh, I did everything behind my parents' back. Like, what? Like, seriously, why is it so difficult to speak to the very people who are supposed to be like nurturing you, being that first person that you like imprint in life? Like, this is my leader, this is my parent, they are the providers of my safety, my food, my health, the goods and services that I need to survive, to be clean and healthy, and food in my stomach, medicines when I get sick, all that stuff. The very people who nurture you, why are we so distant with them? So, once again, that's why I asked the question, until when should parents' leadership linger in a child's life? You don't have to be a child like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not about age, it's about your position in life in relation to that person. This is my parent, I am their child. I am inheriting their knowledge, their wisdom, their skills. I am them in progress. I am an elder in progress. When I get old as hell, What am I going to pass down to the younger generation? That is their responsibility. They have a young generation now, their younger selves, to like coach about how to make it through life, how to survive. Why are we not communicating? Why are we just focusing on age 18 and you go bye bye because you're an adult and I don't have to be responsible for you anymore? So, see what I mean? I feel like a lot of dysfunctional families, if parents would remain active with their leadership in children's lives, they would be better oriented. Like, let's say that you are the owner of an important company and your child is going to inherit that chairman position, but you think that just because it's your child and they have observed you execute your role that they are going to inherently be good at it. Like, no, you still need to coach them. They will encounter hardships that you may not have encountered before. It would be nice to know that you can count on the elder chairman advice, former chairman's advice, who is also your parent. So you're benefiting twice there. You have a parent who would definitely not give you bad advice, I hope. And then you also have someone who has experience in the business that you so happen to be now obtaining the leadership for. I don't know about you, but I would love to be in that position to where I have a parent who happens to just hand me down what they built up and I grew up in, and therefore they can coach me the best of their ability. So, see what I mean? So, anyways, I'm gonna catch up with some of the comments since I put my point out there. Most parents are like that, but 18 years old still needs time to help, like teaching that 18-year-old more about life. And some parents don't care when their kid is 18 as long as they don't get in trouble. Exactly. It's like, it sounds hypocritical to me, the behavior of some parents, because as long as your child is doing great and bringing prestige to the family and bringing the big bucks or becoming lieutenant this and that or sergeant this and that or your honor this and that, president this and that, basically just completely celebrate my child. I can be all wild about my child because, you know, that's the result of what I did. I brought up that child. They are successful because of my leadership, because of my parenting. It's like, oh, you become this super proud parent when your children, graduate from college, from their master's or PhD, whatever the hell kids do these days. Oh, my kid is Professor so and so or Doctor so and so, MD, RN, whatever letters go after your name. Titles in society. But let your child get in trouble, end up in jail, or just end up fired from somewhere. Are you going to brag about it? Are you going to be like, you know what, my child, I don't know who that is. I had another kid? What? First time I hear about it. Oh, little Johnny is my child. Oh, right. Yeah, you're my child. But you're my child who committed a crime. So I don't want to, promote that. I don't want to. See what I mean? It's like you're going to be loud about stuff that you can brag about, stuff that's going to make you look good. Like, oh, look at that. That is the result of my leadership. I'm a hell of a parent. But if your child gets in trouble for some reason, you're going to be embarrassed of them. Or if your child ends up abusing drugs or some bullshit, yeah, little Johnny, it was his decision. I did my part. I inculcated values on him. But little Johnny still, he fucked up. He fucked up after he was 18. It's out of my hands. Yeah. So seriously, I think parental leadership is something that, if you're a parent for the rest of your life, why would your leadership not be present forever? I don't expect for the leadership to be as, what is it? Like when your kids have their own kids, I don't expect for you to be telling your child how to be a parent exactly. I don't expect for you to tell your 40-year-old child to still, fix the bed or this and that, petty stuff like that. As life evolves, so will your leadership. But I think that parents should still be there. We should be able to count on them till the very end. So, as long as they're around. So, anyways, you guys let me know what you think on that one later on or whenever you get around to this. Um, Parents need to help. They are your children no matter what age. Parents need help too from their kids to take care of business. Yeah, exactly. So if you expect for your children to at some point help you take care of your business because you're getting old, you cannot move as well, you simply do not understand technology as well, and you're very happy to have your kids around helping out, your kids would love to help to have your leadership still. Advice, whatever it is that you can supply to make your life be more peaceful because you know that you're still actively involved in your children's life as far as it's appropriate, and everyone is just living in harmony. I cannot see why that would not bring about harmony to be invested in your kids like that. But anyways, Webby says preach, preach. Yeah, when I go preach mode, there's no stopping me. I hate people talking their anger to somebody else for that person that they have done. Yeah, a lot of the times it's just crazy how people just wanna like you need to control your emotions. People just lash out and then they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I was a dick to you. I was having a bad time." Like, no, bad time or not, you need to be a professional. You need to be mature. Just, I'm not saying bottle it up. At some point, you can talk about it. You can let it out when you're by yourself. But like, you don't need to be making us feel miserable about your misery. Like, because imagine if I portrayed in here the attitude based on my mood, it's like you guys would never see me being chill, laid back, or even being funny from time to time, or let alone smiling. Like, no, it's everything has a time and a place. But it seems that now we're trying to turn the world into this big playground and just being babysat. And I just cannot tolerate that. That's not right. Nothing would get done. Productivity is declining, and we're demanding more for our time when we're not doing that much that's significant. Like, you ever show up to your job and you see people who get paid as much as you and they only do a fraction of the job? That's upsetting. That's revolting. But as long as they have a body there, it doesn't really matter. And I'm like, no, we need to impose rules and getting stuff done. And that way, other people who are there who take their job seriously, they're not being over exploited and it's not fair on them. See what I mean? So, but anyways, that's topic for another day. Most parents do not care. Oh, I need to like scroll a little farther than that. 18-year-old is rich, can do everything. 18 years old is someone so sad. Family's purpose is to help each other out at any age. I hate that families are hating on each other and picking favorites on their kid to see everything wonderful and seeing their other kid nothing but bad. Yeah, it's like you focus on the child that's pretty much the superstar. What about your other children? If you have 3 children, you cannot focus on the baby just because he's the cute one because he's the baby, neglect the middle child because middle, and then your older child is like your first excitement, your first experience at being a parent, your leader of the group, I guess, and the one who you expect is going to keep the siblings together. No, you need to somehow break yourself into 3 pieces if you have 3 kids and make sure that all of your kids are getting equal quality attention. It's not like stuff is going to be just taking care of its own without you being a parent. No, that is why you are the parent, and that is why you are no matter what, guaranteed to be older than your child because you are more developed. You're ready. You're supposed to be ready to guide them. But it seems like these days we're having more and more children becoming parents and they're clueless, you know? Like, I feel like at some point in history, even being a parent at 16 years old, the maturity was different. Your skill set was different. The home structure was different. Stuff used to work. But now in modern days, when we have so much technology, so many things that are supposed to be making our lives more comfortable, the moment the power goes out, everyone loses their minds. It's like, oh, you mean my refrigerator's not running? You mean I don't have to charge it for my phone? You mean I don't have hot water? You mean I can't cook? And I'm like, well, don't you have skills? Like, ideas to come up with to help resolve for you? Like, go back to the Stone Age. What do? You mean you don't have a contingency plan for any of that? Like, we have become so dependent on the comfortable lives that we live. And nobody, absolutely nobody, seems concerned over that. And I would be right there. Like, if something happened to where I don't have my appliances working for me, it's like I'm gonna have to go somewhere to get help because I don't have the skills that my mother has, which she can make rocks start burning at any time. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that without an a modern igniting instrument? You know, like ignition instrument. So I wouldn't know what to do, but she can go to the yard and find stuff and make shit happen. I can't do that. So I'm just saying, I think parents should be more involved until the end. And then another weird thing that I wanted to mention now that I'm dwelling so much on work is how much does people's lifestyles away from work affect them? Say, people who use drugs, people who are on medication, people who drink. It's like sometimes you have a worker who is a nice person, great, beautiful person, just personality wise. They're a good quality person. But for some reason, they are a poor performing employee. Is that the responsibility of leadership? Is that the fault of the job atmosphere? Or is that something that they individually are responsible for? Because some people who smoke, they seem to be a little shaky and jittery, like I need to go take my break because I need to go away from the building and have my smoke. And it's like until they smoke, that's all they're thinking about. So clearly your performance, I would imagine, suffers because you're focusing on something else. Your concentration is broken because you're dependent on this substance that somehow just makes you feel better. And that's all you're thinking about. When am I going to get the drug that I need to function again? My break time. And then if you drink a lot, I would imagine that alcohol would make you slow down. If you do not let that wash out from your system, you can have an accident at work. You're going to be taken to the doctor. You're going to be examined. They're going to find high alcohol levels. You're going to get fired because you are under the influence. So, same thing with medication. Some medication can make you sluggish. Some medication can make you not even able to operate a motor vehicle. Something as simple as driving, you wouldn't be able to do in a safe manner. So, again, when it comes to productivity in the workplace, how much does your individual lifestyle choices affect your performance? Of course, it is a big deal, but I wish that I knew what to look for when it comes to educating myself on that because like I said earlier, there's more than one thing to for a disaster to happen. So when you have bad days at work, if everyone led a healthy lifestyle to where they did not have to rely on meds or taking a break to go smoke whatever it is that they smoke and not be so jittery about things, what would the productive setting look like? What would the outcome look like? I'm never shaky. I'm never like, oh, I need to go have this and that because I don't mess with any of that. And I'm not trying to say that I'm the best person ever when it comes to my job. I'm sure that there's a lot for me to learn yet, or that I could be doing my job a million times better. But but when it comes to attitudes, everyone, absolutely everyone who is on meds, they are fucking zombies. The other day, I was collaborating someone, and I was like, "Would you please grab me an egg replacement?" And I was telling them, and he was still trying to put it in a bag, and I'm like, "I need replacement, a replacement for this pack of eggs." Over there in the from the cooler. So swap them out or something. But I cannot sell this to the customer because it has a defect on it. It took a minute to register. And unfortunately, this person recently hurt themselves and they have to get drugged. And they have not been the same person. It's like their response time is slower. They look more tired. They definitely report that they're not sleeping as well, definitely have been gaining weight. But I would imagine that if you're in pain, you would not be able to exercise like you're supposed to. But see what I mean? It's like we're a bunch of zombies in our workplace. A lot of people are. And those who depend on like smoking or something, that's all you're thinking about. And it, it, it's crazy. What would it be like to have a team that's just not focused on those things? And when it comes to drinking, of course, you cannot drink while you're on the job, but if you habitually drink at night, that has its consequences. It's not good to drink in excess because that'll mess up a few of your organs at some point. Or you are taking meds and you sort of think, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. And then your meds interact, or those things interact, and then you end up unconscious. We probably need to bury you or something. Like, I have lost people, friends, to drug overdoses. So I'm like, could that have been prevented with a simple lifestyle change? So, anyways, I thought that I would just throw that out there because it's a thought that occurred to me during these days. Um, so I'm gonna catch up with the comments, and if there's nothing else to be added, I'm going to sign out for the night. Um, Parents cannot spoil their kids the way kids will never learn from the real world. Yeah, that too. It's the way of living known as being in a bubble. A lot of the elite people in this country, that's all that they have known in their lives. They live in this bubble, stuff gets handed to them. They never have a sense of what it's like to build anything from the beginning. So if you are someone who has a relatively privileged background, you don't have to struggle to make ends meet. Everything is just handed down to you. How do you learn to value the effort that it takes for you to enjoy the stuff that you have? It's like we are born in within this past century, right? And when most of us were born, the roads were there. Most technological advances that we know of, even if they were under a primitive stage, we still had things that were making our lives simpler. And a lot of people just think that everything that's around us has always been around. Even though we see the forested areas getting chopped down to build things, it takes effort and workers to build stuff up. Do you not think that the roads needed to be worked on? Do you not think that hospitals and medicine needed to be developed, invented, researched, tested? We already enjoy the finalized product, or if not entirely finalized, stuff is the prototypes are still being improved, but in the end, what we have is working for us. So we're not thinking about what it took for us for it to get to us. See what I mean? So it's like we just assumed that all this time we had somewhere to walk into to get our medicines, to get surgeries, to get our haircut or anything. Someone had to think about setting up a shop, a place apart from your home to conduct that type of business. Someone had to think about organizing all of that. So now that we arrive into the world when all of that thinking is done, we don't have to think about how to make our lives better anymore because it's we're so advanced on the sense of how to make our lives simpler. So I cannot really wrap my head around the people who truly think that the world as we know it is how it's always been. No, it took a lot of shaping and scaping and working and sweating and bleeding and all that stuff. But we don't have to work as hard because our ancestors took care of that. So my parents took care of some stuff that they had to worry about that now, fortunately, I don't have to worry about. And then their grandparents made decisions so that their kids, which are my parents, of course, wouldn't have so many things to worry about. So it's what we inherit, it's the stuff that gets passed on. So I feel like we need to not stop thinking. I think that's the problem we're having. We're not thinking like we used to because we're thinking, oh, well, why does it matter? I already have the goods and services that are required to live comfortably. So you're not really imagining a world in which things can get better from there because you're just too comfortable with what you have already. I don't want to be that person. It's like, I'm pretty sure that I really won't contribute anything that's like huge in life. I don't need to. I'm not aspiring for that either. I'm not thinking about say, oh, if only I could push a button so that somehow I could connect my thoughts with someone else and we can have like on Twitter, I saw an account that posted about multiplayer dreaming. Like we can be in the same dream, dreaming the same thing. I'm not thinking about anything crazy like that. I don't need for that VR stuff to be real. Let's call it that. VR dreaming to be real. So I think that our focus is definitely shifting because we have worries that we shouldn't be worrying too much about. Our values are evolving and not necessarily for the better. And I think a better leadership overall in people's lives is all it takes. Just good people who orient you. But the people who orient you are also responsible. Because let's face it, not every elder out there is w- wise like they're supposed to, or as wise as they could be, because some people just refuse to mature. Some people refuse to grow up, and they really hold on to certain immature traits that don't do any favors for them, but they cannot identify that their behavior is actually damaging for them, even though they're old. But maybe that person would have benefited from a leader in their lives, like I was explaining earlier. See what I mean? But anyways, um, let's see. Where am I at? I hate it when I get lost with the scrolling thing. Okay. My parents used to be very strict on smoking marijuana. I used to overexert myself on training for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu a couple of years ago. And my parents couldn't cope with marijuana therapy. I only use it for pain. Cool. I have never heard of anyone who does marijuana medically like that. I need to research that. I have no idea how it works. Employees, not all, but most, don't want to be taking care of business, and customers always want to check everything like fast foods and more. Sorry to hear that, Sam. It'll be alright. I only get high at night and weekends. I have heard so many things of what the effect of being high is supposed to feel like. Just, I hear that people tend to laugh more or something. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And don't worry, I'm not going to go out there and try to get high. It's just not appealing for me. I'm not curious about it. If I haven't tried it by now, it's because I don't need to try it by now. You should do it at home. Nah, nah, nah. It'll be all right. It's fine. You can do it on my behalf. I'll just take your word for it. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining me tonight. It's been great. I needed to get a lot of this stuff out of my system because, yeah, some other stuff has happened that's on the political side of things, but I ain't in the mood for that. But I'll tell y'all the story pretty soon. Just, I need to do a snippet at a time. If I can call a freaking hour of me sitting here just talking my life away, constitutes a snippet. But anyways,